What is the best and cheapest car insurance? Depending on where you live, acts of God, sometimes known as acts of nature, may not be something you have to worry about too much. There are too many acts of God that strike downtown London. However, if you happen to live in New Orleans, then acts of God can occur on an annual basis. Wherever you live, though, freak accidents do occur which can leave you with a very nasty surprise if your insurance policy doesn't cover you for acts of God. In January this year, a man in Cornwall lost both of his cars to a mini hurricane which brought down 2 trees on his Volkswagen Polo in Vauxhall Estate. His insurance company said he wasn't covered for such an occurrence, leaving him to foot a £15,000 bill. For female drivers, cheap women's car insurance is a brilliant initiative to take advantage of. Women are rewarded for being statistically safer drivers, which allows insurers to offer discounted rates on insurance for female members. However, the problem with cheap women's car insurance is that those discounted rates will skimp on damage deemed to be caused by acts of God, which means if your car is damaged by a hurricane or flooded, then you have no cover to replace your vehicle. Even so-called comprehensive insurance, let alone cheap women's car insurance, can leave you in the lurch unless you watch the small print carefully. Thousands of vehicles in Manila were not covered by insurance when Typhoon Katsana flooded great swathes of the Philippines recently. Part of the problem is that to increase cheap women's car insurance to cover acts of God, you would have to spend a lot more money on your insurance. Typically, acts of God cover adds 0.7% of the vehicle's insured value onto the insurance bill. So for a car worth £13,000, getting it covered for acts of God would cost an additional £91. Ultimately, you'll need to decide how much of a risk acts of God are to you and your vehicle. An additional £91 suddenly makes cheap women's car insurance quite expensive. However, having peace of mind that your insurer will take care of your problems no matter what the cause of damage can be very reassuring.